Hello guys, welcome back to World Mechanics. Today we're going to show you how to replace the valve cover gasket on a Ford Escape, the 3.0 engine V6 or the Mercury Mariner, Ford Taurus. I think all of them are the same, about the same, 2.5 and the 3.0 engine. As you can see, the front valve cover is easier to access, but for the rear one we need to remove the intake first, the upper intake. So stay with us to see how we're going to do that. The first thing that you need to do is get that clamp loose right there and remove the intake hose from the airbox right there. Next we need to remove the wire right here from the idler motor and this one right here. Again, you just press down like that on the front side and pull. And we need to remove that wiring harness right here from the bolt because it's attached to the intake. And then one more wire right there, that's for the throttle position sensor. And this is the vacuum hose from the intake. You just pull it up like that. Okay, next this hose right there, you need to push that green piece down and then just pull the hose and it comes out of the intake. We'll need to remove the throttle cable and the cruise control cable right here so we can remove the upper intake, and in order to do that you need to use an 8mm socket and remove that bolt from the cover right here so we can access the cables. Okay, and there is one more on the front right there, again with a 8mm socket. Okay, we're done removing the second bolt on that plastic cover right there. So what we need to do now to unhook the cables. Now right here, this is the cruise control cable. You just push down, and this one you need to open the throttle all the way, go around it and just pull the cable out of there. And now, in order not to be attached to the intake, we need to remove these two bolts for this bracket and this one there, all three of them with the same 8mm socket or wrench. We remove the three bolts and now you can just pull the cables on the side and not be in the way. Okay, now the throttle body right here, it's connected to the upper intake as you can see, and that's a water line right here. So if we can unhook the water line, but then we need to bleed the system and add coolant and all kind of stuff, so we're not going to do that. What we're going to do is we need to remove the throttle body from the upper intake, that way we don't need to remove any water lines. And we're going to open the airbox now and remove the mass airflow sensor connector right here and just pull the box, okay, the lid actually right there, so we can access all the bolts for the throttle body. You can remove that hose too if you don't want it to be in the way, just one extra clamp. And this is the throttle body right here, and now we can access, it has 4 bolts with 10mm socket this time. One of the bolts on the bottom, it has a wire that attaches to it, so like a wire guide, plastic one, so you need to get it out of there, okay, with just a screwdriver. And now all we need to do is just remove all 4 of them. We removed all 4 bolts and now you can see the throttle body just comes right here on the side. Always inspect this gasket because sometimes they tend to get bad and you start leaking air and it will affect the way the car is running too. So now what we need to do, we need to remove, this one is for the gas circulation, the exhaust gas. We need to remove these 2 bolts with 8mm, one there and one there, so we can unhook it from the intake. We took the bolts off and now this is right there. We need to push it to the back. Now right here there is 2 more bolts, one here and one there. I have to show you this one. We need to remove it because it's holding the bracket for all these wires, the wiring harness right there. So again, with the 8mm socket you need to remove these two nuts with 10mm socket actually. Okay, we removed the nuts right here, and now you can just pull it on the side so it's not holding the wiring harness anymore. And right there we have more wires that you just need to push out of the hose with just a flathead screwdriver and one more underneath it. Okay, now we need to remove that hose right there. There is one clamp, so you need to get the clamp loose and then just push the hole out of there. It's pretty good tight fit, but it comes out. And on the bottom there is one more vacuum hose that you just push out of there. And don't forget to put those together when you're putting everything together, because you have a vacuum leak. Okay, now we have 8 bolts that we need to remove for the intake. Okay, right there, 1, 2, 3, 4 there, and 4 on the front. This one, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Do not remove this one. This one is holding the lower intake, not the upper intake. So we just leave this one there. When you get them loose, you don't just pull them out all the way. You just make sure that they're loose like that. You cannot even pull them out. They're made to where you cannot just drop them. We got all bolts loose, and now all you need to do is just pull it out. You need to push the emissions right there, that circulates, and you just pull it to the side like that. Okay, and if you want, you can remove it from right here, but those bolts sometimes they tend to break because they rust too much from the heat. And now there is one hose that it's hard to reach before you remove the intake. This one right there, that's in front of the throttle body. So you just remove the clamp and push the hose out. But do not forget to put this one on, because it's hard to put the clamp on without removing the upper intake. Okay, now we need to remove that wiring harness from the bolt right there. And all we have left in order to remove the back valve cover is a few bolts with 10mm socket. So we have this one right here in the corner, 1, 2, 3, this one 4, and this one right here 5 in the very corner. And then in the middle we have 3 of them, this one and this, and on the back side it's identical like the front side. So we need to remove all these bolts with a 10mm socket now. Okay, now we got all the bolts loose, and now we need to remove that vacuum hose right here so we can pull the valve cover up. And these 2 wirings right there, the plugs, the big ones, you need to unplug those. They come in 2 pieces like that. So again, because they're in the way, and we will not be able to pull the valve cover out of there. Okay, like that. So now we should just be able to remove it with no problem at all, except the cables flying everywhere, and they tend to get stuck sometimes, so you might pry with a screwdriver there a little bit, and after that it should, once it breaks loose, it should be out of there. Okay, now it should come out. Careful not to drop anything in the engine when you remove the valve cover, okay, because it could be crucial. It's very tight fit there. Okay, right there. Big mess. And this is the valve cover. As you can see, the gasket is still on the cylinder head right there. So what you need to do, you need to pull it out. Okay, like that. And when you get the new gasket, you just install it on the valve cover, not on the cylinder head, because you will not be able to line it perfect. So that's what you need to make sure. Now you just get the new gasket and you line it on the valve cover. It goes in a certain angle, so you have to be, you figure it out. Okay, like that. And you just push it in the groove. and there is two places that you need to put silicone, right here and on the other side. That's where the timing chain cover, the side timing chain cover is connecting to the cylinder head, so there is a little bit of a gap, and that's why you always should put a little bit of silicone to compensate for that. And make sure that you replace those seals too, the one for the spark plugs, because also this one is like plastic now, it's not pliable at all, it's getting really thin because it's burned from the heat, and often they get stuck on the cylinder head, so make sure that you replace those with new ones so you don't leak oil in the spark plugs. So that's how you replace the rear one. The front one is identical to this one. You just need to remove the bolts again around it, the ones in the middle and the ones on the front that I will not be able to show you because it's a very tight fit. You just need to remove the hose a little bit so you can reach them. And that's the whole procedure. Thank you guys for watching this. Don't forget to give us a like and subscribe to our channel for more videos.